What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Gaming, and it's already that time of the year again. E3 is almost here. So today I'm joined by the members of Gaming at its Core. We have Blue Danger,
Yo.
Online ZHD,
Hello.
Mealkick Media, and we also have the Starks.
Right.
Hello.
Alright, so this is going to be the very first video where we talk about our E3 pre-coverage. So basically what we're going to be doing is up until E3, each week we're going to be making 2 to 3 videos regarding E3 on a various number of topics. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about 2 game sequels that we want to be announced. So even though these games might not necessarily be announced at E3, these are games that we just want to see sequels of. So yeah, I'd say without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start off by asking Online CHT.
Alright, so the first game sequel that I really want to announce, and this is kind of like one that's like a little bit iffy to a lot of people because it just recently got a sequel, but I just want like a faithful linear Mirror's Edge sequel, like something that relates to the original game back on the PS3. Honestly, that game made up my 2013 childhood, like December of 2013, just before the PlayStation 4 came out. That was like one of the last PS3 games with The Last of Us that I played a lot. Just, I remember going through each level, just keep going back into the levels and just, you know, the way the linear levels were made, that they're like, you know, quality, and I feel like the open world just felt really bland, and it just felt like, you know, typical open world games, and it just felt like, you know, Mirror's Edge was the lost game that fell into the trap of like the typical open world games that we see nowadays. The linear game that Mirror's Edge was just way better in my opinion, and just, man, I just remember time trialing all the time in that game, and yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, I guess you guys can relate to that, you know, too many open world games nowadays, but just give me like another faithful sequel to the original linear style game, and I feel like that game would have done better, and just ultimately I think the fans would have reacted more positively to the game. And honestly, I don't see it being announced anytime soon, or if at all, because it's kind of going to be a dead game if it, you know, I think Catalyst didn't really sell well.
Yeah, Catalyst sold really poorly, so.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little, yeah. I feel like if there is going to be a sequel, though, they're going to have to go back to that linear kind of style, and yeah. I mean, maybe, I'm just praying. I mean, if EA can get past that whole Star Wars thing, you know.
I feel like we won't see a sequel anytime soon, though.
Yeah, it's just a wish I really want. Sucks, though.
Like, at least not for a few years.
Yep, exactly. I don't see this being announced until, like, yeah, like at least 2020 or something, if they decide to come back to it.
If they ever do it. That's if they
Yeah, that's if they ever do it, though. So yeah, I guess that's my first game.
Alright, Blue?
My first one's Monster Hunter on PS4. Monster Hunter is a franchise that I absolutely fucking adore. And recently, in the past few years, it's really been a dedicated Nintendo game, even though it originated on PlayStation systems. And recently, Capcom used to say that they sort of changed the mindset of Monster Hunter with how many people actually want Monster Hunter, not only in the West, because there's certain Japanese exclusive Monster Hunter games on PS4 and on PC, like Monster Hunter Online. The overwhelming amount of people that wanted those games in the West, or just a Monster Hunter game in the West. Capcom said that they do realize that with the increasing success and increasing sales numbers of the PS4, they do realize that if they want any game that they put out to succeed, they're going to have to go with PlayStation. They can't keep it exclusively to Nintendo, or even just go third party again. And they did. I'm pretty sure I saw Joe Raptor's video. He did about an upcoming Capcom game, and they've got like 4 possible options. But the most likely to sell the best would be Monster Hunter, and I think that's completely true, because I'm one of those people that desperately wants a Monster Hunter because it would sell like fuck, because there aren't many of those games on the PS4 at all. And it's a really unique game, really gameplay centric, just a really good game. And the one thing that Monster Hunter always slipped up in was graphical fidelity, because it basically does look like an up-res PS2 game, even on like the Wii U and the 3DS. So to see one not only come to the West, but to come to the PS4 is something I would be absolutely insanely excited for. What platform? I'm not really sure. That could be something that could be placed in any conference, not necessarily Sony's or Microsoft's. It could be on any. It could be a Scorpio focused game, and it would sell great. But I think with Monster Hunter being a PlayStation original, its origins lying with PlayStation and the affiliation Capcom have had with PlayStation, it would make more sense to be PS4 focused, or even maybe even an exclusive. And this year would be the year to do it, seeing as it's been a while since we've had a console Monster Hunter game, the last one being in 2013 with 3U. So yeah, that's my first game, Monster Hunter PS4.
All right, Dan.
I think, yeah, I'll go with this one for my first one. I'd probably say that the sequel I probably want to see the most, out of the two I've got here, is probably, and I've mentioned this before on some of the podcasts, that's a sequel to Batman Arkham Origins. I know it's not something that's massively wanted by most of the community, but for me personally, I just really liked Arkham Origins, and to see what else Warner Brothers Montreal would do after that game, because of course they were working on Suicide Squad game, but then obviously that got cancelled. I think it was last year, which just if that hadn't got cancelled, I probably would have put this on the list. But of course now that game's dead. So yeah, I really do continue with something Batman related after what happened to the Suicide Squad game, because I have heard rumors, obviously, saying that the next Batman game by Warner Brothers is going to be like in the future you play as Damian Wayne. Sounds cool and all, but for me personally, it just doesn't really suit me. I always wanted to see a sequel to Arkham Origin just because I really like that story, and it'd just be really interesting to see what happened between the events of Origins and Arkham and that. I mean, I know we had Origins Blackgate that came out on the PS Vita, but I don't really consider that much of a sequel. It doesn't really fill in a whole lot in terms of the. And I mean, I just love the Batman Arkham series. I love Origins. Well, no, maybe love's a bit too strong, but I just love Origins, and I would just like to see what they could do with a sequel. If not that, then just a Suicide Squad game, because I was really looking forward to that, and then they cancelled it, and it really pissed me off. So yeah, that's my first pick for the sequel I want to see. But I know it probably won't happen at all.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty likely it can happen.
I don't know. It's just that with the fact that Rocksteady, just ended theirs, and I think that will probably put Montreal on a bit of a standstill in terms of, oh shit, do we want to carry on with this game? Considering that Rocksteady, the people who made the games, they're finished with it. If we make another one, people are going to start saying, oh, we're sugarcoating the series. Like, that's what most people who just on them for quote-unquote milking the series, which I think is complete bullshit. That's what most of them would probably say if they released another one, which is why I don't think they would do it, but I personally would just like to see another Arkham game from them, but I just don't think it'll happen.
No.
Do you really think it should happen now? Do you not think 4 is enough?
I don't know, because the thing, I've made this point very clear. I wasn't a fan of Arkham Knight. I didn't like the way it concluded the series. And I think that's why I want an extra Arkham game, because I want to leave the series on a high note. I just don't think Arkham Knight was much of a high note for me personally. And that's probably why I would want another game, because maybe that would soften Arkham Knight's, disappointment for me personally.
I mean, to me, as long as it's not yearly, like I can think they can keep pumping out Batman games like every 3 or 4 years or so. And like I wouldn't find it milked, honestly, as long as the game's quality are good. I mean, Batman's a universal, where you're obviously a superhero fighting crimes, just like something that's already out there in the media, like comics and everything. It's not something that has like a definitive story. I guess I get it. Yeah, it does, but still, yeah, I could see it.
No, I couldn't really, to be honest. I mean, I get what you mean. I know you want another one, but I mean, with the way the ended Night, it just really felt like, even though that was a bit of a dog shit conclusion, it was like they're not going to continue with that.
Dog shit's putting it lightly, mate.
No, I know,
Dog
but like they're not.
lightly.
It's clear that Rocksteady just don't want to continue with that franchise, and if they were to make a prequel, of course, Rocksteady themselves don't consider Origins the true prequel. It's sort of like the red-headed bastard child they treated the franchise, because they always refer to the Arkham games as a trilogy, not a quadrilogy. So for them to make a prequel, it's kind of like trying to fill in and push away Arkham Origins, which is, I know they don't consider it a mainline Batman game, but it is still technically is, but just by a different developer. So that would kind of be like reiterating Origins, and then to make a sequel to a game that they felt like was a true conclusion to the Batman franchise would just feel a bit misplaced. But I would have liked Arkham Knight to be way better than what it was. But a sequel, not necessarily. I think they're just done with that franchise, and it would kind of just start really getting repetitive if they did it.
Well, that's why I wouldn't want Rocksteady to make it. That's why I want Montreal to do it, because like I said, I liked Origins. There were some good concepts with it. And I think with Rocksteady, I just felt like they went too big in their aims in the sequels. Like the first Arkham Asylum was so simple and it was good. And then Arkham games that Rocksteady made, they tried to make it bigger and better, and ultimately turn out that well for the games in terms of, making them, for me personally, better games in general. I mean, sure, they may have had better gameplay in terms of, the fluidity of it and the mechanics behind it, but overall in terms of memorability aspect and, sticking with you more and being like, oh yeah, that was a great tight focus game. They kind of lost that with the sequels as they tried to go for this more open environment, with trying to, appeal more to the open world, genre that people were craving for during the, the time that the sequels came out. And I think that was why I slowly fell off with Rocksteady. Whereas with Montreal, I thought with Origins, they did try to tell a more story. That's why I want to see a sequel by them. I don't want Rocksteady's hands anywhere near the sequel, because after what they did with fucking Arkham Knight, I don't want to see anything else made by Rocksteady related to Batman games, to be perfectly honest. I just don't think they would be able to capture what made Arkham Asylum so great for me personally.
Yeah.
All right, Jaden.
Is he dead?
Well, all right. Well, Jaden's dead. All right, I'll go then. All right. So for a game sequel that I want. All right. So the first one I put down was a sequel to The Order 1886. Now, for me, I still remember the first time I played The Order 1886. It wasn't like, I really didn't find it anything special. Like, it's not that the game was bad. It's obviously like the game lacked kind of substance and variety, and also like, the game was just super short, right? But I went back, like, I think it was, like a few months back, I went back and replayed it and got the platinum, and I actually came around to like enjoying the game a lot more. So that in itself, I think The Order 1886 definitely deserves a sequel. I'm not sure if it'll happen like anytime soon, because of course, if you go and check Ready at Dawn's website on their careers page, I think it says something like they're creating a new IP. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be seeing like a sequel to The Order anytime soon, but that's just something that I wanted. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Jade, you can go now.
Yeah, so I was talking earlier, but for whatever reason, my mic cut off. Anyways, the sequel that I would like to see is Overwatch. And
How could you make a sequel to that?
And well, I mean, easily you just come up with like 10 different heroes or something. I don't know. I really like the original version of Overwatch. It was very unique. The concept was really cool. And I still play it to this day because it's an amazing video game. And
because there's nothing else that you play.
I think there is Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, which I don't like. But anyways, for Overwatch, they can, even for a sequel, they can add an actual story for the game and even improve on what they didn't have in the original. So that's one of the reasons why I want it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
I don't see a sequel happening for a while because I think the game has a ton of life into it.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
It's gonna be lasting for at least
I think it will be built upon eventually, maybe in like 10 years or so.
10 years? What? Not 10 years.
I mean, Blizzard's known for not really releasing many games.
It's gonna die out anytime soon.
No, it's not.
It's kind of like a Team Fortress or a CS:GO at this point.
Yeah, Blizzard's not the type of dev that would reiterate the franchises. They like to stretch them out and just keep supplying them with a regular flow of content rather than releasing a new full game, because it's segregated communities.
Doesn't mean it's not going to happen though. So
no, it doesn't. But it won't be anywhere near future.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to happen, but just not anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
All
right, Brandon.
I guess I'll go around. Yep. So this next one's also a game that just recently got a sequel, so yeah, it's just something I also just really want to see another installment from, and that is the Tomb Raider series. I really want to see Shadow of the Tomb Raider and just see what they're going to do with the third one in their whole reboot. I've been loving the reboot series so far. I thought Tomb Raider and the reboot in 2013 was phenomenal. That game was great. Honestly, it was up there with Last of Us and BioShock Infinite and GTA 5 for 2013. Great year of gaming, by the way. And just seeing what they did with Shadow of the Tomb Raider just felt like just as good. I feel like the environments were a little bit under par with the first one.
Yeah.
But in terms of gameplay, I feel like they even improved that. The characters, people, they always hate on the story, saying it's nothing really special. I feel like I know what happened in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and I know the story behind it. I feel like it's not going to be something like Uncharted with the characters. But I feel like Tomb Raider to me doesn't have the best characters, but I feel like it has a decent story to it. Just kind of cliche at the times, but man, the gameplay, Shadow of the Tomb Raider kind of filled like the void of Uncharted 4 and gameplay to me. Like, as you guys know, Uncharted 4 was mainly for its story, and I love it for that fact, because it was closing off the fact that Nathan Drake, was leaving this behind, and he was doing this for his brother, but I felt like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Uncharted 4 were perfect for 2016. They kind of like, bounced off on each other. One lacked story, the other one lacked gameplay, and it kind of filled each one. So, yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider was obviously like the action-packed Uncharted 4 to me of 2016.
Which one lacked gameplay?
Well, Uncharted 4 didn't have as much gameplay as like the previous games, but I honestly don't find that as a bad thing. I got that in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I got that in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, really excited for it. Even though it's not being made by Crystal Dynamics.
Okay.
That's interesting though, because I think the writing was horrendous in Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think you're right about the story.
Yeah,
the story itself was great, but the writing was piss poor. In terms of gameplay, Tomb Raider is vastly better than Uncharted, because Uncharted is the epitome of a cover-based third-person shooter. It's basically PlayStation's version of Gears when it comes to gameplay. Although there's nothing really wrong with that, it's really solid. But yeah, I could definitely see why you're excited for a new Tomb Raider game. If you could ask for anything to be improved upon, like the main aspects, what would you say? Because obviously gameplay is solid. So would you honestly say
fleshed out maybe
characters or
fleshed out characters? Honestly,
yeah.
And not cliche moments, honestly. I feel like the set pieces were pretty cool, like with the whole art, like the whole van as they're going to, I believe, Syria.
Yeah,
it flipped over. That was really
that
cool.
was cool.
With the helicopter.
And just the environments.
No, but
I feel like the thing that makes Laura not likable as much to me is she's always like a facts kind of person. She always takes everything so seriously. And while that is in her, like, who she is as a character, it kind of finds it hard to like her when she's always so serious and she never really laughs.
Yeah, that's what I always found with the reboots, is that Laura, as poorly written as she was actually like the best written character in the whole game. And,
yeah, she was. Besides, Jonah probably came second, but he wasn't really in it much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they got rid of like the reboot that didn't like the characters that didn't really matter much at all.
No.
I'm glad they got rid of them and they focused on Jonah, because I think he was like the most likable one in the original reboot.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they continue with that. I mean, I feel like they're going in the right direction, as long as, I think I forgot their name, the creators of DSX that are going to be working on this third one.
Crystal Dynamics.
No, Crystal Dynamics are working on the Avengers projects now.
Eidos
I think it's AOS something, I forgot. They worked on Deus Ex. I just hope they don't screw it up.
Wasn't Eidos Montreal?
Yeah.
Origins, Arkham Asylum as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the only thing I just hope for is they don't push this game out too quickly, because there is being a movie and that's going to be released next year about the reboot, I believe, the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope they don't push this to that time of the year just to get sales on the movie. Mm-hmm. Just hope that, this team takes their time and just makes it good. And yeah, I feel like the what am I saying? The reboot is, the series that they've been doing with Tomb Raiders has been phenomenal, or at least great to me personally, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, stoked for that. Even though it won't be in E3 2017, I think it's been confirmed about that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no E3.
Yep.
All right, Blue.
My second sequel that I would absolutely love, but it is nowhere near. It's not even development. It's probably getting contemplated though. Is Mario Galaxy 3? Good lord, Mario Galaxy.
Whoa, seriously?
No, it's not. It's not at all happening for many years, because obviously Odyssey is now the focus. But after Odyssey, I think the next Mario game should be Galaxy 3, because I think Galaxy 1 and 2 were just so impeccable, just really, really incredible games. And I'd absolutely love to see a sequel. And that's something that, when we talk about system sales for Switch, I think that's right up there in like a top 3 of what could push the most units, because the Galaxy franchise is one of the most revered in gaming history, and obviously very successful. Especially given the fact that the Wii's software attachment rate was abysmal and it still managed to sell good numbers. It goes to show how good those games actually were, and Galaxy 2 is one of the best games of all time, in my opinion. But yeah, I'd absolutely love a Mario Galaxy 3. It'll be interesting to see that's what I would be most interested to see about that game, is how they change it. Because as good as Galaxy 2 was, it was kind of like a refinement of the original with new gameplay implementations, with Yoshi and that. So it'd be interesting to see what changes they could make in 3. But in all honesty, I mean, it could just be it could be a refinement of 2, and it would be another masterpiece. So I think that's just like a really a game for Nintendo to at least think about once they're done with Odyssey, because I think that could be something that could really push units and satisfy a lot of people.
I agree. Those are like some of my favorite games of all time.
Yep.
On the
I
Wii.
like New Super Mario Bros.
Doesn't
That's
get
my
close
favorite.
to
That's
Galaxy.
one of my favorite. Yeah. What?
Out of interest, what one's your
Are you
favorite? Out of the
serious?
New Super Mario Bros. Which one's your favorite?
Me?
First,
No, Jaden.
Or Jaden?
the first.
Oh.
Yeah, I never knew there was a second actually. So
Do you mean original
Or,
Mario
like
Bros, or do you
the
mean
Wii
new
one, like the new Super
Yes.
Mario Bros. Wii one. It was
Oh,
on the
Wii. Oh, thank God,
Yeah.
Wii is easily the best one.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And the case was red as well. It was fucking
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sexy as fuck case. But yeah, Galaxy 3. Can't wait. I would absolutely love that.
Alright, I'll go next. Mine would probably be the thing was there was a lot of rumors debating the game they're going to say now. I think it was literally like last week when it was being teased a bit, with images, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, this game could happen." But then obviously they did a complete 180 and were like, "Oh yeah, it's just throwback images," and that would be a sequel game to Far Cry 3. I'm not sure if you guys saw that on Twitter, but with all the, I think it was like I think it was like which Ubisoft Twitter account was it that posted the image? I can't remember.
It was something on Facebook, I know, right?
Because they posted like an image of Far Cry 3, and then I saw it and I'm like, oh shit, is this actually happening? And then it's like, oh no, it's just a throwback image. It really pissed me off. But yeah, I really want to see a sequel to that game that actually either precedes the narrative of it, like a prequel game, or one that follows after. Just because I love Far Cry 3, it's probably one of my favorite open world games I've played. To be perfectly honest, I love that game so much. And or a prequel, I would probably most want a prequel. Probably a game, and I know, like I said, I know this game is never going to happen because the Far Cry games never take place like straight after the other. They aren't linked necessarily. The only two games that I could say honestly are linked are probably 3 and 4 because some characters in 3 either appear in 4 or are mentioned. So I know this game would never happen, but I would want to see. The one I'd love to see the most is probably you play as Vass, like a prequel as to how he loses his mind over the course of the game. That was one I always wanted to see. Like I said, I know this game will never happen because of the Far Cry series and what each game usually is, because they just like to get more and more outlandish and like further away from each one. But yeah, that'd probably be the second sequel I'd most want to see. Skate 4, sorry. Oh my god. What? But yeah, it was between those two, but because I know Skate 4 is a really popular option, I'd rather just go with one that I personally would want to see a bit more of. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go next. Okay, so for my second game, I've actually talked about this game like many times, but I'd actually want a sequel to Alan Wake. Now, Remedy's actually currently working on like a new game codenamed P7. So yeah, it's not like an Alan Wake sequel is going to happen anytime soon. It's just that that game I played on PC, like I already told you guys, like a year back already, and yeah, I had fun with it. Obviously the game had a pretty cool story. I thought that the gameplay could use some improvements because I felt like it was a bit repetitive. So I think that like the potential it had and like the groundwork that it set, that was cool in itself. And I just think that a sequel could bring lots of new gameplay potential.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not like we're going to see the game anytime soon. As I said, they're currently working on P7, which is going to be like, another action adventure story game. And that's cool because we're going to be able to play it because it's going to be coming to PS4, of course. So, yeah.
Finally.
That's cool.
Because like Remedy makes the type of games that, they're comparable to something like Naughty Dog, I guess. I guess you could compare it in that sort of way.
Yeah.
Like
third-person story driven.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's cool to see their games coming over to PS4, and I would love to see a sequel to Alan Wake sometime in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jaden.
All right. You guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
So, for my second game, it'll have to be Evolve. It's a pretty cool
Really?
game.
Good God.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you mean, really?
My
It's
god.
such a good game. I had fun with the game.
Didn't Evolve
No,
get rated
no.
like shit?
No, well, the thing was
no.
with Evolve,
Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't enjoy
actually,
Evolve.
it took Monster Hunter's concept and turned it into an FPS and just made it the most lifeless thing I've
Well,
ever seen.
I've never played anything like it. So
Yeah, I didn't like
pretty
it.
cool.
I didn't like
and
it.
I think there's not a story for it, right? So I think they can
No.
also do that for a second game. However, I have a few other games as well that I want to mention. And that'll have to be Minecraft, if that counts, really. Rocket League, and I think
More
for
bullets.
Rocket League they can do like an airplane rocket kind of thing.
More bullets.
Bro Force, which was really cool.
More
No
bros.
Man's Sky, just because the first
Bruh.
one was a flop.
Bruh, what is this list?
We know that game
And-
isn't happening.
And I know that this game
You think
actually
anyone
had,
would buy a No Man's Sky 2?
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like that, whatever. And
Even
Tom
more,
Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, but I know that had other games in the past, but like whatever. I don't know.
Oh,
Let's get
damn
5
it.
games.
Oh, you mentioning Tom Clancy just made me think of another one I really want. I want to see another Splinter Cell game.
Oh yeah.
Completely forgot about that because literally we haven't had one since Blacklist in 2013. Like that
Yeah.
series has been dead for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Forgot that game.
But anyways, yeah. So Overwatch and Evolve for me.
Wow, that's interesting.
Oh.
What is it that you love so much about Valve?
Well, I've never played a game like it, and I thought the concept of you have 5 hunters and then you have 5 monsters battling out one another, I thought it was pretty cool, and it reminds me actually a lot about Killing Floor 2, which I've played, recently with Brandon actually. So I don't know, the concept was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best game in the world or anything like that. It was pretty simplistic in terms of like the characters, I guess, just because like you have like, I don't know, I think there was like medics, and then you have like support and all that different, like games have these where you have like even in Overwatch, like you have this one guy that has like a shield, which would be Reinhardt, and stuff like that. So I don't know, I like games like that where you have different like characters that have their own distinctive
Class setups.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I really enjoyed about Evolve. So yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, especially since I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think what the problem, I'm not going to go on a fucking rant, but the problem with Evolve was that the level design was actually really poor in the way that it made it when actually the fact that the game was unbalanced, it was the fact that the level design was really really strenuous, and just it's too rounded, if you get what I mean. It's like an arena style match. So essentially, if you have a good team of hunters who are using mics, like if us four were to play Evolve, then then the hunters would indefinitely win. If it's just random guys you're playing in matchmaking, the monster wins because the monster can just piss off and hide, get to level 3, and then instantly kill everyone, which is bullshit.
Yeah, that's the problem that I had actually, because
he could always just run away from the hunters, and because of the level design, he would never be caught.
yeah.
So yeah, I get what you mean with it. I don't know. That's not a game I'll like to see a sequel, and I don't think we will at all. But
no, I don't think
fair enough if you liked it. The concept's cool. It's the same as Monster Hunter. I like that type of concept. 4v1.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, that basically is our 2 games that we want to see announced, or sequels, I should say. But yeah, so this is good. This is of course the first part of our pre-E3 coverage. You can expect another part sometime later this week, and you can expect like 2 or 3 parts every week up until E3, of course. So yeah, make sure to of course let us know 2 game sequels that you want down below in the comments. And with that, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next part of our pre-E3 coverage. Thanks a lot for watching.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.